Hello, my dear students. I welcome you all for this lecture. So, we are studying the chapter number 13, that is nuclei. So, for this nuclei, so I will study first in this video, that is a binding energy. Okay, so before going to nuclear fission, okay, we will see the binding energy. So, what is meant by the binding energy? So, according to nuclear binding energy, okay, so this is a one concept given by Albert Einstein, that is mass and energy both are the convertible, and that equation is what? E is equal to mc square. Okay, that is a Albert Einstein equation. So E is equal to mc square. So that form only the nucleus is equal to, we'll say, the proton plus neutron. Is it there? So nucleus is what? It is made by the proton and neutron. So suppose, for example, the nucleus is having the mass as a 20 kg, and proton is having the mass as a suppose 10 kg separately, and neutron is having the 10 kg separately, and the nucleus is 10 plus 10. Proton plus neutron is equal to nucleus. Okay, 10 plus 10 is equal to 20 kg. Okay, by theoretically we will see that the nucleus is equal to proton plus neutron and 10 plus 10 is equal to 20, but by seeing the mass spectrometer, okay, it is a device, so it will measures the nucleus, mass of the nucleus. Okay, that is a mass spectrometer. So we will get the nucleus as a 18. So where that 2 kg weight will be there, okay, that will be released as a difference 2 will be there, and that will released as a mass defect. So here the in this equation the EB is equal to delta M into C square, where delta M is what? Mass defect. Okay, so actually, binding energy is what? It is the energy required to break up the nucleus into its constituent particles. Okay, we know that the nucleus is what? It is made by the proton and neutron, and the constituent particles means nucleus is having proton and neutron, and it is a required energy to break nucleus into the constituent particles like protons and neutrons, and that binding energy EB is equal to delta M into C square, where delta M is what? Mass defect. Okay, the whatever the energy released in that the proton and neutron. Okay, so now what is the actually the proton and neutron is having the some different weights, and if you will see the mass spectrometer, and there the nucleus whatever having the weight that is different from proton plus neutron weight. So what is the difference is there? No, that difference is known as mass defect, and where c is what? The velocity of light in vacuum. Okay, c is the velocity of light in a vacuum. So according to Albert Einstein equation, E is equal to mc square, that simple modification EB is equal to delta M into C square, where the EB is what? The binding energy, delta M is a mass defect, and C is what? Velocity of light in vacuum medium. Okay, so therefore the binding energy is what? It is the energy required to break the nucleus into its constituent particles. Okay, into its constituent particles. So here in this the binding energy, okay, so the relation between the binding energy, mass number, and binding energy per nucleon is what? EBN is equal to EB divided by A, where EBN is what? The binding energy per nucleon. Okay, so it is a binding energy per nucleon, that is the, so binding energy per nucleon is what? It is the ratio of binding energy to the mass number. Okay. Therefore, suppose the one example, okay, suppose for one nucleus, okay, whatever the binding energy is there, so if you divide that binding energy to the mass number, you will get the binding energy per nucleon. Okay, and this is also known as the binding energy per nucleon is also known as specific binding energy. Okay, so here we'll see the two concept. Okay, that is what binding energy. Binding energy is what? It is a energy required to break up the nucleus into its constituent particles like the proton and neutron. Okay, so we know that nucleus is made by proton and neutron. Okay, and the whatever the energy required to break that two is known as what? The binding energy. Okay, and the binding energy EB is equal to delta m into c square, where delta m is a mass defect and c is what? The velocity of light in vacuum. In this, the relation EBN is equal to EB by A, where EBN is what? Binding energy per nucleon, and it is the ratio of what? Binding energy to the mass number. Okay, so we'll see the binding energy curve and its features. Okay, suppose here we will take the binding energy per nucleon in MeV. Okay, so that is a mega electron volt and to the mass number. Okay, so it is a binding energy per nucleon versus mass number. Okay, actually the binding energy curve shows mean it shows that the nucleus are stable or the which nucleus are not stable. Okay, it shows that which nucleus are stable and which nucleus are not stable. Okay, the binding energy, first we will study the here the binding energy per nucleon. Okay, is the very low for light nuclei. Okay, so if you will see the light nuclei, okay, nucleons that turns to form the heavy nucleus, then it releases some energy. Okay, so the binding energy per nucleon is very low for light nuclei. Okay, and for the binding energy per nucleon is greater for the heavy nuclei. Okay, so second one, the binding energy per nucleon is maximum at 8.75 mega electron volt for 56 iron. Okay, you will see this graph. Okay, so it is a maximum value, the iron value. Okay, the Fe 56 Fe. Okay, the iron value is maximum binding energy and that is having the 8.75 mega electron volt. Okay, so here it is a maximum value always, and the 10 mega electron volt is enough to make it free. Okay, nucleus from the nucleus. Okay, so nucleons from the nucleus, only the mainly 10 mega electron volt is enough to free them nucleons. Okay, so after that we'll see the next point, the binding energy per nucleon having mass number ranging from 30 to 170 is nearly maximum value. Okay, so the atomic mass, if the greater than 30 and atomic mass is less than 170, okay, the value of binding energy per nucleon is small. Okay, so and that is a nearly the maximum value. Okay, the binding energy per nucleon is having the mass number ranging from 30 to 170. Okay, in that is a greater than 30, less than 170 is nearly maximum value. Then after that, we'll see the some significance of this binding energy curve. Okay, it gives the information about the stability of the element. Okay, it explains the how stable of the nucleus. It shows the nucleus, which nucleus is stable and which nucleus is not stable, that all it explains. Okay, so here uh, then after that, the binding energy of heavy nucleus, okay, that is having the, suppose the A value, atomic mass value is greater than 170. Okay, sorry. It is the less than 170 is low, and this idea is used in nuclear fission. Okay, so binding energy of heavy nucleus is having the, suppose, low value, that is what, the less than 170 value, and then this will be used in nuclear fission. If the binding energy is having light nucleus, okay, that is suppose the greater than 30 and is low, and this will be used to nuclear fusion reactions. Then after that, the iron, okay, the iron is having the maximum binding energy and nearly 8.8, that energy will value will be 8.8 mega electron volt, or it is near exactly, okay, that is what, the 8.75 mega electron volt. Okay, so that is also the one, the important thing that you should remember. Okay, only the iron is having maximum binding energy and nearly that is having 8.8 mega electron volt. Then after that, the heavy nucleus gets divided into lighter nucleons, then the energy will be released. Okay, if the heavy nucleus, if you will take the heavy nucleus and you should divide it into the two lighter nuclei, two or more than two lighter nucleons, then the energy will be released from it. And if the two light nucleons turns to form heavy nucleus, then also the energy released. So if you want to join the nucleus or if you want to break the nucleus, then the some amount of energy will be released. Okay, that is also the one point that you should remember. Okay, so like this, the binding energy curve is present. Okay, then after that, next we will see the nuclear force. So what is meant by the nuclear force? It is a force which binds the nucleons together in the nucleus is nuclear force. Okay, so we know that the nucleus is made by the proton and neutron. Okay, and the force whatever the present and that binds that proton and neutron together, that value or that force is known as what, the nuclear force. Okay, so for it is a force which binds to nucleons. Nucleons means that are protons and neutrons together in the nucleus is nuclear force. Okay, then after that we'll see the some properties of nuclear force. Okay, it is a strongest force. Okay, we know that in first year, first chapter, we have studied the some fundamental forces. Okay, then we have studied that strong nuclear force is a very strongest force among the all four. Okay, so here the it is a nuclear force is what? Strong nuclear force is a very strongest force in fundamental forces. After that, it is having always attractive force. Okay, it is having always attractive nature, attractive force, and it is a short range force. Okay, so it will splits or it will whenever it will splits. Okay, and whenever it will joins, obviously the within short range only it happens. Okay, it is a very short range force, and it is a saturated force and the charge independent force. Okay, so here the nucleus is having neutrons. Okay, the neutrons are neutral. Okay, and even the protons are positively charged, but the both together are nucleus, and the nucleus is having a charge independent force. Okay, so almost all the neutron will be present in nucleus, and neutron is a neutral, therefore it is what? The charge independent force. So like this it is having some properties of nuclear force. Then we will study the nuclear fission. Okay, what is meant by the nuclear fission? So here we will take the heavy nucleus. Okay, among all the nucleus, the uranium 92 to 35 is having the very heavy nucleus. The whenever the splitting of two heavy nucleus into two lighter nuclei of comparable masses with the formation of some energy also. Okay, suppose you will see the uranium, okay, 92 uranium 235, this is a very heavy nucleus, and if you want that nucleus as a two lighter nuclei, if you want to split that nucleus as a two nuclei, then the some lighter nuclei, okay, then whenever you should apply, okay, you should bombard with some slow neutron, okay, some slow moving neutron, then it will breaks the two heavy nuclei as a suppose the lighter nuclei, and it will use the again the three neutrons and some anomalous amount of energy. Okay, it releases some anomalous amount of energy. So this process is known as what? Nuclear fission. Okay, so nuclear fission is what? Suppose the you should take the heavy nuclei, for example uranium, and if you want to split that nucleus as a two neutrons, then you should bombard one slow neutron to that heavy nucleus, then it will split as a two nuclei, and it will use again the some anomalous amount of energy as well as again the three neutrons. Okay, so this process is known as nuclear fission. So the what is meant by this nuclear fusion? Nuclear fusion is what? It is the process which two light nuclei fuses to form the larger heavier nucleus with releases of some energy. Okay, so here nuclear fission means it is a splitting of nucleus. Nuclear fusion means it is a addition of two nucleus. Okay, combination of adding of two nucleus. Okay, it is the process that two light nuclei whenever fuses, okay, then it will forms the one heavy nuclei as well as some electrons as well as some anomalous amount of energy. Okay, so that process is known as what? Nuclear fusion. So here in this nuclear fission, okay, so suppose you should see the according to definition it is a splitting of heavy nucleus. Then how to split that uranium 235 to as a two nuclei as a barium and krypton? Okay, so for example for nuclear fission is what? Suppose the uranium 23592, okay, you should split these two as a barium and krypton and three neutrons, okay, as well as some amount of energy. Okay, here how to split that heavy nuclei as a lighter nuclei? That is the main question. So suppose you should take the one neutron. So neutron, if you will take the some proton, Okay, then what happens with that uranium? If you will take the proton, obviously the nucleus is having the proton and neutron, and because of the positive charge of that proton, it repels. Okay, the repulsive force will be there in between that two. So because of that, don't take the splitting experiment. Okay, for that splitting of heavy nucleus, only use the neutron. Okay, because neutron is a neutral, and the neutron will be slowly moving. Okay, that is a slowly bombard with that heavy nucleus, then only it splits as a lighter nuclei. Suppose that neutron is fastly moving, then it will not break that one heavy nucleus as a two lighter nuclei. So the whatever the neutron will see, okay, will use to break that uranium 235, that will be the slowly bombard, then only it will splits as a two nuclei. Okay, that as a here, that is a barium and krypton, and also it will use the some three neutrons and enormous amount of energy. So using this nuclear fission experiment, okay, we'll see the next one, that is a nuclear reactor. So what is this nuclear reactor? Nuclear reactor, it is a device in which the nuclear reaction is carried out, then the self-sustained controlled chain reaction will be present, and it gives the nuclear energy at the steady rate. Okay, so it means what? Whenever the this reaction, okay, that is what the nuclear fission reaction, that is a splitting of heavy nucleus will be present. Okay, in that what happens, whenever you should split the heavy nuclei, then it will use the three again neutrons. Whenever the three neutrons again bombard with the, okay, joins with the any nucleus, again it will use 3 3 3, means 9 again neutrons. So if you will not control that chain reaction, then what happened? So it converts as a nuclear bomb. Okay, and the heavy sport will be present in that place. So the control for that reaction, okay, we'll use the nuclear reactor. So nuclear reactor, it is a very important, okay, very important experiment to control that chain reaction. So it, what is meant by this nuclear reactor, and what are the apparatus we'll use here? Okay, we'll see the nuclear reactor. It is a reaction, okay, that carries out as a self-sustained control chain. Okay, so here we'll see the core. Okay, this is a core. In this the fuel is present, and the continuous the reaction will be present in that. So in this core, some the fuels will use, and that fuels like materials like commonly uranium 235 or thorium 232 or plutonium 239 and plutonium 240. Okay, these are the examples we'll use as a fuel for this process. Okay, and it is a for this reaction, okay, the fuel is very necessary to take the reaction. Okay, and this in core we'll use the control rods also. Okay, these are the two control rods, and after that the reflector is present in this box. Okay, reflector is there, and after that the here the coolant will be there, and the steam turbine, for this steam to turbine is joined, and heat exchanger is present. Okay, that is also known as steam generator, and will supply the continuous water to this condenser. Okay, this is a way to, so continuous water is coming inside in this, and the water will be moving to that core. So we'll see the some explanation about these parts. Okay, so fuel. First one, that is fuel. The material containing the fissile isotopes like fuel. The commonly they are used as a uranium 235, thorium 232, plutonium 239 and plutonium 240. Okay, they are used as a fuel. And after that, the second one, that is a moderator. These are the materials that will use to slow down the fast neutrons, and that are known as moderators, and commonly used moderators are graphites, heavy water, barium and oxides, and after that the certain organic compounds also used as a moderators. So see, if that fuel like for example uranium, thorium, okay, if it will splits as a 3 neutron, again that 3 neutron if joins with the nucleus, again that will be splits, and if that chain will not control, okay, then what happens, the heavy amount of energy will be released. Therefore will, for maintaining that purpose, we'll use the moderators. And the, if we will use the moderators, that whatever the fast neutrons will be present, okay, that slow down the, and that will be controls the not splitting another nucleons to that process. Okay, for that the moderators will use. So mainly the moderators are having main use. Okay, it is used to slow down the fast neutrons, whatever the fast neutrons, okay, producing 3, after that 9. Okay, so whatever the fast neutrons, okay, splitting, that process it will slow down. So it is having the main part in this process. After that, third one, it is a core. So for it is the site of the nuclear fission, okay, and here the, for that core only, or for that place only, the nuclear fission reaction will be continuous. Then fourth one, that is a control rods. Okay, so these are the neutrons absorbing rods and inserting into the core. So when what happens, suppose the nuclear fission reaction, the continuous nucleons will be splitting. For if we will not control that reaction, chain reaction process, then what happens, the heavy amount of energy will be produced in that place. So if the moderators will be not controlled in that, if the not controls that process, then the control rods will be insert in that core. Okay, and after that they will slow down that level. Okay, they will maintain the reaction at optimum level, and the cadmium rods, whatever the boron steel rods, okay, are there, that are known as the control rods, and that will be, if you will insert in there, okay, then they will slow down the that process. Okay, then if the control rods are continuously present in that core, then what happens, the whatever the amount of energy we want from this reactor, that will be not increases. So what happened, for certain time, okay, for controlling that optimum level, for that rate only we'll insert that control rods. After that level, okay, again we will release that control rods. Then fifth one, that is a reflector. So it is a leakage of neutrons from the core that can be reduced by using refractor on the inner surface of the core. Okay, so suppose the leakage will be there for the neutrons, then that will be controlled from this reflector. Then after that, next one, coolant. Okay, in this nuclear fission reaction, the heavy amount of heat is producing. So whatever the coolant will use, okay, that will be decreases that heat energy. Okay, so the coolant is having that, and that is having the very important role, and it is the heavy water or the carbon dioxide of high pressure will use the commonly as a coolant. Okay, the very commonly will use as a water only, and the heat produced during this fission is absorbed by coolant, and that will be passing through the heat exchanger. And ordinarily the water pumped into the copper tube in the heat exchanger comes out as a steam, and the steam generator drives a turbine, and the whatever the electric uh, generator will be attached to that turbine, that will get some electrical energy. So for this process the coolant is very important. So whenever the heat energy will be increases in that, okay, for that also, and the for cool down, okay, for heat exchanger will be we want, for that process the coolant is having very important role. Then next one, that is a reactor shielding. uh, Whatever the concrete walls are there, okay, that is 6 feet to 8 feet, that is thickness around the core of the reactor, that is known as the reactor shield. And the reactor shield is avoid to maintain the harmful effect from radiations, because in this process the neutrons and gamma rays will be produced, and for that purpose, okay, that for that reaction, okay, will avoid the harmful effect of that radiations. So for that purpose we'll use the reactor shield. So like this, we'll see that nuclear reactor. So see, whenever the core is present, this is a core. Okay, in this core, suppose we'll take the fuel, suppose uranium you should take, and you should go through the nuclear reaction. Okay, whenever you should take the uranium and bombard with a slow neutron, it splits as a, again, the three neutron as well as two at nucleus, and after that some enormous amount of energy. After that the chain reaction will be continuous. For that control of chain reaction we'll use the reflector. Okay, reflector will be slow down that process for certain level only. After that level, if you will not control that reaction, then what happens, the nuclear energy will be produced, heavy nuclear energy will be produced. Okay, so for that controlation the control rods are present. Okay, here that are the control rods. Okay, you should insert that control rods into that core. Then what happens, the some amount of the nucleus will be absorbed by that control rods, and it will maintain that situation. And after that the well, in this process so much amount of heat energy will be produced, so coolant will used to control that heat. And after that whatever the amount of the energy will be comes in this steam turbine. Okay, suppose that water will be, because of that heat, Okay, the water becomes as a steam, and the whatever this steam is present, and this attached to the turbine, and there the turbine is attached to the electric generator and will use as a electrical energy. And after that, for this heat energy steam generator, okay, will attached one water condenser. Okay, here the continuous water is coming inside the this exchanger or steam generator, and after that that water will be moving to that core. Okay, like this the continuous process is present in that nuclear reactor, and it is a mainly device that will be used to carry the sustained control chain reaction. Okay, and the whatever the splitting of the nucleus is there, okay, that process it will controls. Okay, and it will gives whatever amount of energy we want. So like this the nuclear reactor is present. Okay, so after that, the what are the uses of this nuclear reactors? So we'll see the applications or uses of nuclear reactors. So the first one, that is a power reactor is used to produce electric power. Okay, so whatever the generator is attached to that turbine, there will use as a electric generator. Okay, and electric power will you produce it as a electric power. So next one, that is a power reactor is used to run nuclear submarines and ships. Okay, in nuclear submarines and ships also that power reactor are used. Okay, and that energy will be used as a here nuclear submarines and ships, and it is used to research work also, and it is for manufacture of radioisotopes and for use to produce the generating neutrons, and Prader reactor is used to convert the fertile material into fissile materials. Okay, like this it is having some uses also. So here we'll see the next point, that is a difference between the nuclear fission and fusion. Okay, the first one, it is the process of splitting of heavy nucleus into two light nuclei as a comparable masses. That definition is known as nuclear fission. And nuclear fusion means what? It is a process of combining the two light nuclei into a single nucleus. So fission means splitting of nucleus, fusion means adding of nucleus, combination. Okay, combination or adding of two nuclei is fusion, and fission is it is a splitting of nucleus. And second one, the energy released per fission is more. Okay, so fission, the whatever the nuclear fission reaction is there, if you will split that heavy nucleus as a two nuclei, then very large amount of energy is produced, but in fusion the very less amount of energy is produced. Third one, the energy released per nucleon is less. Okay, because the energy per nucleon is what? It is the binding energy to the, it is the ratio of binding energy to the mass number, and if you will see the binding energy per divided by mass number, then it is having the less value, but in nuclear fusion it is having the more value. Okay, energy released per nucleon is having more value. Next one, it can be controlled. Okay, so for nuclear reactor process, okay, it can be controlled process, but nuclear fusion is cannot be controlled. Okay, this fusion reaction will be not controlled reaction. Next one, it takes place at low temperature. Okay, for low temperature, but it will gives the after the reaction it will gives a numerous amount of energy, but in fusion reaction it is takes place at a high temperature. And sixth one, it produces whatever the products will be there like radioactivity that are harmful products, but nuclear fusion whatever the products are there that are harmless products. And last one, it forms the principle of atom bomb. Okay, so nuclear fission is used to produce the atom bomb, but the nuclear fusion reaction, okay, it forms the principle of hydrogen bomb. Okay, so like this it is having some difference between the nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. Thank you.